From Church Militant Studios, this is the Church Militant Evening News.
Hello and thank you for joining us this Wednesday, February 22nd. I'm James Fedewa, along with Hunter Bradford here with Catholic News and Context on Ash Wednesday. Tonight, we'll bring Church Militant's exclusive insight about Bishop O'Connell's death. A group of women is taking a stance against the synodal way, and more scandals come out involving the infamous Vatican Bank. Leading us off tonight, Catholic apologist and former Los Angeles County Sheriff's Deputy Jesse Romero revealed last night the death of California Auxiliary Bishop David O'Connell might have been a Masonic execution ritual.
My confidential, reliable informant confirms that it was a murder, that Bishop O'Connell was shot behind the head several times. I looked it up. It's called, quote, the Judeo-Masonic killing of the king, close quote. This is a Masonic way of killing a patriarch, and supposedly, you know, this is the fashion that they do, the killing of patriarchy. And again, remember, Bishop O'Connell was a bishop, a patriarchal figure, successor of the apostle.
Wow. Church Militant will give more information as the story develops. You can watch the full interview with Jesse Romero at churchmilitant.com.
And we've got some more news on the murder of Bishop O'Connell. According to the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, the suspect, Carlos Medina, is being held on $2 million bail. The husband of Bishop O'Connell's housekeeper was arrested Monday morning at his house, which is by the Sheriff's Department. While the investigation is ongoing, police still do not have a motive for the crime, although Sheriff Robert Luna told media there may have been a money dispute.
Detectives were told by the tipster that they were concerned because Medina was acting strange, irrational, and made comments about the bishop owing him money.
O'Connell was found dead in his home on Saturday by police after they responded to a 911 call from a deacon.
And in this week's episode of Strickland Speaks, Bishop Joseph Strickland reacts to San Francisco Cardinal Robert McElroy's recent article on radical inclusion and changing church teaching on sexuality.
Rather than changing the catechism and saying that homosexual activity is not disordered, we need to emphasize that any sexual activity outside of a man and woman committed in marriage is disordered.
Exactly.
It all is.
Amen.
And that's
well said.
You know, certainly it's not just the same-sex attraction acted on that's wrong. It's any sexual attraction acted on outside marriage. That's why it's wrong.
Wise words. Strickland Speaks can be found on our website, courtesy of Virgin Most Powerful Radio.
The former nuncio to Egypt, Cardinal Michael Fitzgerald, has hosted the first Catholic service at the Abrahamic Family House in Abu Dhabi. The interfaith shrine, which houses a synagogue, mosque, and Catholic church, was born of Pope Francis's concordat with Sunni leader Sheikh Ahmed al-Tayeb. Speaking on behalf of Pope Francis at the inauguration of the site on Sunday, Fitzgerald compared the shrine to Isaiah's vision of a house of prayer for all the peoples. Faithful Catholics, evangelical Christians, and Orthodox Muslims have attacked the shrine, some calling it the abomination of desolation. Here's what Salafist preacher Sheikh Ahmed Musa Jibril had to say.
The Abrahamic term they use is to cover the poison of kufr and interfaith. It's used to dismantle the layers of wala and bara and tawheed. It's used to cover the dishonor and shame of surrendering to the kuffar, to the Yahud and Zionists.
And here with more on this story is our Rome correspondent, Dr. Jules Gomez. Jules, great to see you again. You have uncovered a very unique and quite shocking aspect to this story. Tell us what that is.
And good evening, James. What not many people have noticed is the fact that Cardinal Fitzgerald misinterprets, distorts, and abuses that glorious text from Isaiah chapter 2, which talks about the Messianic temple in the eschatological period being lifted up and all nations coming towards it. But even more important is the fact that Fitzgerald is an Islamic scholar, and he talked about how the Muslims inaugurated their mosque using the Maghrib prayer, which is a sunset prayer. Now, the Maghrib prayer contains the first chapter of the Quran, Al-Fatiha, and verse 7 in that chapter anathemizes Jews and Christians. It says that the Jews have earned God's anger and the Christians have gone astray. Talk about an interfaith setting here. And the very first prayer the Muslims pray is to anathemize Jews and Christians.
Wow, yeah, that's interesting there. But Jules, Christians are slamming this as an abomination of desolation. Can you explain that?
Well, the abomination of desolation comes from the book of Daniel, and scholars say that this was fulfilled when Antiochus Epiphanes IV, the Seleucid king, came into the temple, destroyed it, and he sacrificed a pig on the altar, erected an altar to Zeus and all that stuff. But it's very interesting that evangelical Christians are talking about how this so clearly violates the epistles of St. John. So First John says, "Who is the liar but he who denies that Jesus is the Christ? This is the Antichrist, he who denies the Father and the Son. No one who denies the Son has the Father." And the church has been built together with two religions, a rabbinic Judaism, which split in the first century from Messianic Judaism because it denied Jesus as the Messiah, and then, of course, Islam, which dismisses the claims of Jesus as totally fraudulent. And 1 John goes on to say, he says that in 2 John, he says, if anyone comes to you and does not bring this teaching, do not receive him into your house or give him any greeting. James, let alone building an interfaith shrine together with him.
I wonder what the actual agenda behind this is, because it definitely ain't interfaith. That's what it definitely seems like, Jules. But thank you very much for coming on, and we'll see you again real soon.
Thank you, James.
God bless.
Saints in the church died to convert Muslims, but now we build a shrine with them. 4 prominent Catholics are abandoning Germany's dissident synodal way. 2 theology professors, a philosopher, and a journalist, all of them women, resigned from their roles as synodal way delegates today. In a statement, they said, "We can no longer go along this path, on which we believe the church in Germany is moving more and more away from the universal church." They also said the synodal way is, quote, "casting doubt on central Catholic doctrines and beliefs."
The president of a Vatican City bank is revealing church officials offered him protection if he would loan money for a seemingly shady deal. Jean-Baptiste de François, the head of the bank known as Institute for Works of Religion, shared the revelation during a criminal trial last week. Several former Secretary of State officials are currently on trial for various financial crimes. According to the Pillar, de François admitted in court the Vatican's internal financial authority offered him protection if he would approve a €150 million loan application. The money was allegedly to refinance a mortgage the Vatican had taken from a Swiss bank when it bought a London building in 2018. The banker revealed he had concerns that the deal was being used for money laundering.
As Hollywood continues to make increasingly grotesque productions, one Catholic filmmaker is using his talents to preach the gospel. In tonight's In-Depth Report, Church Militant's Nick Wiley discusses a new documentary about one man's victory over Sodom.
I'm happier now than ever, and hopefully I'm a sinner like everybody else, but hopefully I could be, like I said before, like an example in case there's someone out there that's struggling with same-sex attraction.
Catholic movie maker Frank Panico recently released his new personal documentary, Unabashed, centered on his struggle with and triumph over the gay lifestyle. Panico teamed up with Jesse Romero of Virgin Most Powerful Radio for the film.
Everybody wrestles with a different demon.
human nature is fallen and it's wounded as a result of original sin.
The battle between the flesh and the spirit, and good versus evil, is a central theme of the film. In the documentary, Panico focuses on his experience of a sinful lifestyle, while Romero comments on the theology of sin and spiritual warfare.
I used to pray, I say this in the film, God, please don't let me be gay. God, please don't let me be gay. From the age of 10, 11, 12, 13.
While many experiment with same-sex attraction due to sexual abuse, pornography, or father wounds, Panico claims he never experienced any of those, but rather had a good upbringing free of abuse.
Because of our fallen nature, and we're all sinners because Adam and Eve messed up, that now we're all battling demons. Some might be battling the urge, same-sex attraction. Some might be battling pornography. We all have these demons that we have to fight against our animal instinct.
Even after moving to California at 24 years old and beginning to embrace homosexuality, Panico never stopped attending church.
I would still go to Mass basically every day. I don't know. It's really a mystery. And I did have other friends who were gay saying, look at what a hypocrite you are. You're going to church and then you're going to go out and try and find someone to sleep with. And I guess in a sense they were right, but I just kept going.
By the grace of God, through his own prayers and the prayers of his mother and others, Panico was able to leave the gay community and espouse a life of chastity.
God, is there no romance for me? And I think his answer was yes, but I will reward you and make you happy in other ways.
Sex and romance are not what make us successful or fulfilled. Only a life loving God and doing his will truly satisfy us. Nick Wiley, Church Militant Evening News, Detroit.
That's because sin makes us both stupid and unhappy. But to watch Unabashed and support Frank Panico's work, please visit unabashedmovie.com. Once again, that's unabashedmovie.com. And when we come back, the Biden administration continues to prove it has it out for pious Christians. And many Americans aren't thrilled about the idea of mutilating confused children. Stay tuned, all that and more up next. Thank you for watching the first half of Church Militant Evening News.
If you would like to watch the rest of today's episode, please click the link in the description, and we'll see you at churchmilitant.com. God love you.